Today we are here in Manhattan and we're going to be asking people who they're voting for, and if they're voting for Zohran Mamdani, if they think he's going to be great for the city or is he going to completely destroy New York. Let's find out. All right, so we're here with our first respondent. Introduce yourself.
Yo, I'm A1 from Brooklyn.
A1 from Brooklyn. So the question of the day is, who are you voting for, or who do you want to win in New York City's mayor's election?
Personally, I'm voting for Cuomo. I like what Silva has to say and what he's done for our city. To keep it 100, I do. But the problem with him is that he wants to do too much too fast, I feel. And I think Cuomo is a little bit more both worlds, you know what I mean? He also has been a governor before. He knows how New York runs, he knows how it functions, he knows the ins and outs, he has a lot of connections. Mamdani, unfortunately, he's also very, very far left, meaning that he wants to create all these big programs and they sound all wonderful, but at the end of the day, how are we going to pay for that? Our city is already really in debt as it is, and our budget's blown out, and not only is our budget horrible and the deficit's bad, but every time we do a project and create new programs and things of that nature, they always go way over budget, by tenfold. Often, that's not unheard of. So with that being said, I think that Mamdani, spending is not going to save our city. We can't spend our way out of this crisis. We need to be, and I'm a liberal, but we have to be conservative in order to get out of the situation, I feel. And I think Cuomo is the better candidate for that. I mean, Silva, honestly, would be better, but he's just too controversial, I feel. So I think Cuomo would be the better option, even though he's controversial enough himself, too.
Hey, did you guys vote? Did you guys vote for New York City mayor?
We're not from here.
Oh, okay.
Fair enough.
Do you know what's happening? It's like probably one of the most important elections of our lifetime. How about you? You're a New Yorker?
I am a New Yorker.
Who did you vote for?
I don't live here anymore. I've registered elsewhere.
Oh, okay.
But I know who I would vote for.
Who would you vote for?
I would vote for Cuomo.
Cuomo. Ah, okay, all right.
Yeah.
You seem like a rational fella. That's good. That's good. And you still got a beautiful head of hair. That's great. Did you vote for mayor?
Not yet.
Who do you want to win? Mamdani?
Anyone but him.
Cuomo? Anyone but him? New York City. How about you? Are you a New Yorker? No? All right. Yeah, a lot of these people are tourists. Oh, let me ask this guy right here. Hey, boss, I see you work for the city. Who do you want to win for the New York City Mayoral Election? Who do you want? None of them? Why you don't want none of them to win?
Nothing fixed, no matter what mayor you get in.
Yeah? How long you been a New Yorker?
I was born and raised here.
Born and raised, just like me. So you feel like in your lifetime, no matter what mayor we got, they ain't fixed nothing. Wow. Not Bloomberg, not Giuliani, not none of them.
Well, Giuliani did a little, so
Yeah.
until he changed face with Trump, but it's all good.
All right. Thanks, brother. Bum, 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 bum. Guys, which mayor do you think is going to best represent the Spider-Man community in New York City?
We'd prefer not to talk to you.
At all?
That's right.
You don't want to share who you want to win? All right. I thought Spider-Man was your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, but I guess not in this case. Hey, brother, I see you're a hard-working MTA worker.
Sometimes.
Today we're asking New Yorkers who they want to win the New York City mayoral election. Who do you want?
I don't live in New York, brother.
You don't? I mean, you work here though, so you got some skin in the game.
Not really, man.
But if you had your choice, who would you want to win?
I wanted Adams to win.
You want the Adams to win? Interesting. But with the current existing three candidates, who would you choose?
I have no idea, champ.
You're like, it is what it is?
It's what it is.
All right, man. You have a good one, brother.
They got to deal with it, right?
I got to deal with it. I live here. Who do you guys want to win the New York City mayoral election?
Cuomo.
Cuomo. Okay, Cuomo. All right. It's Cuomo, but all right. That's a good one. I love the mouse ears. I just have to ask you, if you had your choice, who would you want to win the New York City mayoral election? Here, come over here. Who would you want to win? Really cute. Are those mouse ears?
Yeah, it's supposed to be Mean Girls, Karen Smith, like sexy mouse. Mamdani.
You want Mamdani to win? Okay, so I gotta ask you why. What do you think his biggest appeal is to you? You look younger.
I think it's his marketability towards Gen Z and my generation. It just sort of seems like he knows us, even though he isn't. I don't know if he's Gen Z or not, but he took the public bus. Like, I don't know. I don't know if there's a right or wrong answer. For me, it's just like his marketing and his use of social media, especially.
You put that over policies, like the actual things that he'll do in office to affect your life. So you care more about the appeal.
I mean, I wouldn't say that. I think I'd have to do a little more research on my own, just because I know I'm still not old enough to vote, so I would have to like really get in there.
Gotcha.
But yeah.
All right, good. That's a good answer.
Because of our economics class, we learned a lot about like taxes and how to file our taxes as we like, because we don't want to be the next generation of like student debt, because that's like financial illiteracy is one of the biggest things of. I work and I have a part-time job, and for that, for me, seeing, I know it's a big experience for a lot of us, seeing you know, your first paycheck and then you see all the taxes that are taken out of it. I was like, I don't want that to go, like, why do they have
and
to
as you gain more and more, as you increase in the tax bracket,
you have to pay more taxes. And then my teacher was like, well, the way that you feel about that, that's more Republican. And so I was like, whoa, I didn't know that. So then it's like you really have to educate yourself and see where you...
because like when we're young, we're very idealistic. We want, like, it's not Republicans are bad, it's just like you're forced to have to deal with the reality of your world versus like, I want everyone to be fed. I want everyone to have a roof over their head. I want everyone to be safe. But unfortunately, the world doesn't work that way, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I hope we find a better solution, a better system, like later in life, maybe when
it's up to you. It's literally up to you and your people. You're up to bat. You're like in the bullpen, and your generation is up to bat. So like these are the conversations you guys need to start having now. So when you're confronted with these issues, when you're in a position of power, like you have an understanding, and then you don't repeat the errors of the past.
I mean, I think a big thing about it, I'm sorry if I'm like talking too long.
No, you're good.
I think a big thing about it is like the subject of politics can be uncomfortable to talk about for some people, and I think normalizing talking about it would be a bit better. Like for me, it's so uncomfortable because like honestly, I'm scared of getting canceled. Like I don't want to see this and like see if there are like different views and like, oh, like everybody's gonna hate me now. Because the thing is like I want to be a doctor now, and like a big thing like that is like ethics and laws and some
well,
countries
listen,
have
I'm going to give you a piece of advice that you're going to be able to carry for the rest of your life. You're never, ever going to be able to please everyone. No matter what your stance is, you're never going to be able to please everyone.
Well, that's just what it is. Like, that is ethics. Like, ethics is how you treat people that you don't know. And that's why politicians, good ethical people make good politicians, because they think about statistics and they think about everybody as a whole, not just the people they know. That's the difference between morals and ethics. Like, everybody can have morals, everybody can be morally right, because everybody has people that they care about, everybody has people that they're close to, but what makes you a good ethical person is how you treat the people you don't know.
You're really articulate for your age. A lot of girls will be like, Kim Kardashian, what? Like
Very well spoken, honestly.
Thank you.
Young fellas, who do you want to win to become the next mayor of New York City? The most important city of these here United States.
I'm actually from Texas, so I have no clue. I'm not
Mamdani.
Mamdani?
Yeah.
Why do you want him to win? What's his appeal? You look like a young guy. What's his appeal for you?
His honest appeal, man, is he's for the people. He's for the youngins. And, I mean, I feel like he's a better running candidate than Cuomo. In my opinion, I feel like he would, strengthen the city a little bit more and kind of be with everyone.
Gotcha. Anybody else have a difference of opinion?
Shit, Jackson Dart.
Wait, what? I don't know who Jackson Dart is. All right, so we've done a good amount of interviews. Now we're passing the baton to DU Films. You ready?
Yep.
Let's go.
Let's do this. Plan on voting for our mayor?
What?
Do you plan on voting for our next mayor?
I'm from Kansas City.
You ruin your thing.
No.
Go Chiefs.
Good, man. Go Chiefs. Go Chiefs.
How's it going, gentlemen?
This is my neighbor.
So who do you guys plan or want to win this next mayoral election?
I'm actually from California, but I've been following this pretty closely, and I know it's Curtis Sliwa, right? Mamdani and Cuomo. Personally, just for who I see being the best fit mayor in this upcoming election, I'm going to be voting for Andrew Cuomo.
Interesting.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, I think he's the best fit for this position, and
All right, well, to give everyone an equal chance, how do you feel about his kind of checkered background? I know he had a little scar on his record. Do you think that could potentially affect his chance of winning?
yeah, it definitely will. I mean, look, the biggest thing that the voters are saying now is that he had his chance, he messed it up, he was essentially benefiting the rich and giving them tax breaks, and people like Bill Ackman and all these people, right? But when you look at it from an objective standpoint on who's the most effective at the decision, who has a better sense of what New York is and the economics, I think Andrew Cuomo just takes that. Disregarding all those other things, which are also something you can factor, but yeah.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate your insight. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, okay?
Before we get into the actual topics of the discussion, let's talk about DU Films doing some on the street interviews. How'd you feel about that?
I really enjoyed myself. I think this is something I'm gonna continue doing. I like pressing people about issues. However, I know with time it will just get better and better.
Gotcha. And then joining us was our first respondent. You introduced yourself as A1?
Yeah, Al, A1, Al from Brooklyn.
Yeah, and Al gave us such good feedback that we wanted to bring him back for the roundtable discussion where we'll go in depth on the topics, on the candidates, and the issues at hand. So, first things first, I think it's important to discuss who we want to win. I voted for Andrew Cuomo. How about you? Who did you vote, or who do you want to win?
I will have to say Silva or Cuomo. However, the tides are looking like it's either going to be Cuomo or Mamdani anyway. Cuomo, I like that he knows a lot about New York in general. He's been here for a very long time, regardless of his past controversies. He still has made change and waves in the city.
Yeah. And then you said you wanted Silva. What do you think would be the best impact that he would have on the city if he were to win, despite his low chances of winning?
If Silva were to win, the most immediate and probably most stark impact would be the reduction of crime, for sure, especially in the subways and in common areas throughout the city. That's been his number one thing from day one, has been to reduce violence amongst New Yorkers, reduce crime, reduce inequity, and get the city functioning the way it was supposed to. That's always been his message, and I believe that's how he feels. And also, I mean, look, the guy created the Guardian Angels. I mean, he's always been about keeping people safe and keeping the city safe and running without serious violence. And people can call them vigilantes, but look, they're not vigilantes, man. Vigilantes are militia groups, people that are out there with weapons and trying to, seriously, do the job of police, right? I think Silva that would be the first impact, would be the reduction of crime and the refunding of mental health, because he already said that was also one of the first things he wants to do is reopen ethical mental health treatment facilities, not just psych wards and not just quote unquote asylums, but actual facilities that can get individuals the help that they need. But yeah, that's what I have to say about that with as far as Silva.
That's really insightful, because now it's like that's just shedding light on one of the issues that is affecting New York City right now. And the question is not who's the nicest guy, not who's the most charismatic, not who's the most debonair. It's who's going to fix these problems and and actually be able to work with big government, the governor, and upstate to get the funding to actually fix these problems, and has the experience to put people that have the knowledge and experience to at the helm of these organizations that need people that are going to run them functionally. And I just personally don't think Mamdani has the experience or the background to really put people in a position to fix the problems of the city. I'm sorry.
You mentioned Mamdani's experience. That's a great topic right there to discuss right now for a second. I would love to focus on that for a minute. This gentleman, there's an article about him actually that got his tax returns. The guy only worked for roughly 4 years. That's it. 4 years of registered tax returns. I don't understand, how is that possible for a guy that's 30,
30-something. That doesn't make any sense. What has he been doing?
Yeah.
Oh, I know what he's been doing. He's been going to school. He's been doing that kind of stuff. He's been in academia. He has not been working. He has not been. You look at Cuomo or Soa. Both these guys have decades of work. Whether they were an office job or not, these guys have worked. They've put in the time. They have gone to work. They've clocked in and clocked out. Now they're not working in a factory, but they do work and they have worked. And I think that is important to mention. You know what I mean?
So Isaiah, you mentioned that you wanted either Silva or Cuomo to win, but the likelihood, based on polls that we're seeing, is that Mamdani is looking like the front runner to take the New York City Mayoral Election. What would you say is the number one policy that he'll put in place that you're concerned or worried about that could affect the city?
Well, one major concern that I have is this whole idea of freezing rents on apartments and also providing extra benefits towards, New York citizens. In the front running, yes, it sounds like a very good, it sounds good. However, you also have to remember, how is this going to get paid? He already mentioned he wants to do a $100 billion plan in order to counteract this housing crisis. However, as we all know, where is that going to come from? Our taxes. So that means it will raise, and
we're already in debt. Right.
It makes no sense to continue this type of route when obviously we already know spending more money is not going to solve the issue. And obviously overfunding has been done, and the resources never get allocated to the proper people that actually require these services. And I could only imagine it's just going to get worse.
The one thing I want to mention is that he hasn't even gotten elected, and he's already facing an uphill battle because the governor said she has no intentions on raising taxes.
No.
And if you can't get that funding from upstate, from the capital of the state, where are you going to get it from?
And Trump's not going to work with him. So the federal government's already been, before Mamdani before his name was even brought up, the federal government was at their wits' end with our city. And I already, as a New Yorker, I get their frustration. I kind of do. I'm starting to get it because I take the train every day. You take the train. We see the MTA. I remember when the MTA was at its peak in around 2014-ish, 2015. It was at its peak from what I remember, at least. It was relatively on time for the most part. The trains were not broken down constantly. People weren't getting pushed on the tracks all the time, and something happened right before COVID even, but right after COVID especially. But right before COVID, it started getting a little bit weird and choppy. And it's a great example of the health of the city, the subway. You can gauge the health of the city by that very well. You really could.
What's the one policy that Mamdani will put in place that you're concerned with?
DU Filmster mentioned the freezing the rents. That's certainly I like the way it sounds. I love that idea, but the problem is it doesn't pan out because when you freeze the rents, what's that's going to do? That's going to increase the prices and everything else around there. The landlords are going to have to make, They're going to have to make do somehow. So it's going to come out of it's called balloon economics. You squeeze one side of the balloon, the other side inflates, right? It's how that works. It's one thing always leads to another. Now, the one policy I think would really affect the most, again, is his spending. He's going to spend. He's going to spend us into a well we cannot dig ourselves out of. We need to build and construct a ladder, an economic plan to get this city out of the red because we haven't been doing good for decades, man. We haven't. We've been over budget with every project. Oh, no, not every project. Let me rephrase it. Actually, Cuomo's projects, oddly enough, have been under budget by a little bit. So that's kind of remarkable. I will say that. As much as I disagree with the guy's private life in a lot of regards or how he might come across to certain people, that's all neither here nor there. His actual policies were pretty decent. They truly were. They were decent, and they were better than what Mamdani has to offer, and that's why I said Cuomo personally. But yeah, my biggest fear with Mamdani again is just the spending, his constant, incessant idea to spend.
I'm gonna say that is obviously a concern of mine, but if I'm going to be honest, my number one concern with him becoming elected is his candidacy emboldening people like Antifa to do whatever, however they want, emboldening criminals. It's just a natural fact. If you have a leader that's at the helm of any municipality, any country, like it's going to embolden criminals because they know that you're soft on crime. If you're soft on crime, if there's no consequences for the actions of crime, crime will rise. Who's that going to affect? That's going to affect the same super liberal females that are like, go Mamdani, and it sounds good. You're going to freeze your rent. He's going to give you free this, going to give you free that. Then you're going to go on the train one day. He's going to open up the floodgates to migrants to be coming from other places. And what's going to happen to you? Do you think you're going to be safe? You know, we already have a crime problem. And now if you have a mayor that's soft on crime on top of that, that's restricting the NYPD's capability to do their job, do you think you're going to be safe? And who do you want showing up if your apartment's getting robbed or you're potentially getting raped? A social worker or a trained police officer with a gun?
I'm so happy you brought that up. I'm so happy you brought that up. That's a good point.
I actually wanted to discuss that. I think there's a genuine reason why people do want Mamdani, for one, and I think it has to be that not a lot of people are educated in the idea of democratic socialism to begin with.
Yep.
What people don't understand is that democratic socialism comes with a lot of cons, and those cons are very severe in social life. For example, it's the economic inefficiency, or the higher taxes and extra government control or government spending, the reduction of innovation, you know, the brain drain. If anyone knows what that means, is basically the lack of motivation to want to do more, because when you have everything handed to you, what's the reason to kind of go out there and do more? And it is known with democratic socialism that there is an excessive bureaucracy, and along with potential for government overreach, where we already feel as New Yorkers that we are going home with Uncle Sam in our homes already. So now imagine what that's going to be when there's literally a worker going to your house to check up on you once in a while, you know, just to make sure you're running things right in your own home.
Let's switch things up. I honestly want to keep things on Mamdani just because, like we said, he's gonna be the mayor. He's gonna be the mayor. Let's talk about the free buses. Free buses for all. You get a bus. You get a bus. Everyone gets on the bus for free. So I'll let you guys, one of you guys, start with that. What do you think? How is that going to impact us?
Now,
is it possible?
I do think in the short term, the people will love that idea because it is true. I don't think it's fair for sure for, let's say, homeless people to, let's say, get put in a holding cell because they got caught too many times sleeping on the bus or sleeping on a train. However, if it's a free bus, it's going to get worse. Like, you're going to have more individuals that are feeling emboldened to kind of, and using it directly to, like, use as, like, a shelter. And it's going to be hard to say you can't do it because then it becomes like, oh, it's the people's. Well, what do you mean? You're not one of the people? You know? Homeless or not, it's going to be like everyone is a New Yorker.
Again, the free buses, it's one of those things where it sounds amazing. The Soviet Union had free buses, but then, you know what happened? They stopped that because they realized that when you have free buses, the way you oversight, like, okay, for example, who chooses how things get fixed and when they get fixed and how they get fixed and where the budget comes, where the money comes, like all that goes through the state bureaucracy, right? And there's a lot of times that gets corrupted, especially in socialist society. So the Soviet Union ended up having to make people having to pay, even though that goes against all their tenements, right? Now their trains were free still, but again, you had to have a reason for travel too. So is that what we're going to do here? Are we going to have free buses, but then you're going to have, because it's going to get so used that eventually, especially if you're coming, how about people from out of the city? Are they going to pay for the buses? So that comes from our taxes. We can pay to have the tourists ride for free. Is that how that works now? Like, doesn't make any sense. Like, it sounds so great on paper. It looks wonderful. I would love for all transportation to be free for all people in the world. But that's not how that works. You know, it has to be paid for somehow. Energy costs money. It's that simple.
So to close out the topic on the buses, listen. Let's call it what it is. Mamdani's he's super charismatic, young. Yep. Energetic.
Yep. He does appeal. He does appeal to
good looking guy.
He does. And he's
so
I've been seeing all these old people lately.
If he was running to be like the best idealistic candidate that doesn't have anything to do with policy, You got my vote, bro. You're the guy. You're the guy. You're the guy I want on the cover of the magazine. But anytime something is free, you need to be skeptical about it. And this is why the Democrats have had a hold on poor black and brown people for so long, because all we see is free. Oh, free is for me. And we don't think about the implications that has on the quality of anything that we do. And sometimes you have to simplify it to subjects that we understand. All right, you have a pair of Jordans. Jordans are an expensive pair of sneakers.
Absolutely.
Now, if you go and then go to Chinatown and find a remake of Jordans, the quality goes down. Anytime anything is for free or ultra cheap, the quality of whatever that said thing is goes down. So obviously, like the housing crisis, if apartments are super cheap and the rent's frozen, the landlord's not going to have the money to make repairs. Like what happened in the 80s, landlords were literally lighting their own buildings on fire because they figured they would get more money from the insurance than from the rent. So obviously, I understand rent in the city is super expensive.
It's half your income. It's half your income, basically.
It's very expensive, and the fact is, this is a cold hard truth. Some people just can't afford to live here.
Yeah.
And some people just have to move.
Yeah, it's not for everybody. It's
you
not.
know? There should be affordable options.
There should be.
But
especially if you're born and raised here.
You know, but at the end of the day, if you can't afford it, you can't afford it.
I think that's a very fair point. And if anything, those people that can afford it, that have been in New York for years, generations, how come they're not being taken care of more? And we're taking care of random people that are just becoming citizens, regardless of the legality. What sense does that make?
We covered a lot. This is what you have to look forward to. This is just one example of the type of videos that you'll be seeing on this channel. We're going to have in-depth, deep discussions with people that agree or disagree with us. Sometimes we may skew left, sometimes we may skew right, but it's always going to be common sense, fully thought out opinions, not just overly emotional like clickbait. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you like, comment, let us know your thoughts, and most of all, subscribe, because we want to build a strong community of critical thinkers that share their opinions. Let us know when we're wrong, let us know when we're right, let us know when you're conflicted, and we could hash it out in the comment section. Hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.